So this blind chess master offered an unbelievable prize to anyone who could defeat him in a game of chess. The offer was so extravagant that players from faraway towns traveled miles, all for one chance to play the blind man. But for the winner, there was a catch. Anyone who can defeat me in a game of chess, the flyer read, shall be awarded my entire castle, complete with its moat and surrounding premises, on the condition that they wear my ceremonial hood at all times in the castle. Unfazed by this strange request, chess players from all across the land came in droves to play the blind man. But one by one, they were defeated and sent back empty-handed. Hardly any players lasted more than a few moves. That was until a duke from the wealthiest neighboring province arrived in the village. Those who had been waiting for days shouted and protested as the duke proceeded to the front of the line. But the blind man's response was most shocking of all. "Chess master," the duke announced, "I have come from the royal valley to challenge you." "Is that so?" said the blind man. "Well, I've been waiting for an opponent of your caliber. Please, have a seat." As usual, the match was over in just a few moves. Only this time, it was the blind man who lost. "Well played," he said gracefully. "I wish I could say the same for you," the duke huffed. "Now, for the castle." "Ah, yes," the blind man said. "Just mount your horse and follow me." The two rode through the woods for several hours. Then the blind man came to a halt. "The castle is just around the bend," he said. "But if you wouldn't mind, here is the ceremonial hood I mentioned." The duke was outraged as he donned the hood. "I can't see anything," he scoffed. "This hood covers my entire face." "Ah, yes," the blind man responded. "But this was my one condition, was it not?" The duke begrudgingly obliged, and the duo continued toward the castle. Soon the horse hooves began to clack. "The moat bridge," the blind man announced. Then the hooves began to echo. "The inner foyer," he said. And last, the hooves dampened to a soft patter. "The center garden," he said. "Your throne, made of pure oak, is just steps in front of you." "Good to hear," the duke cheered as he dismounted his horse and started toward the throne. "I must ask," the blind man said, "are you pleased with the castle?" "Very," the duke cheered. "Very pleased indeed." "That warms my heart, as this castle has brought me great joy over the years," said the blind man. "If it isn't too much trouble," the duke said, "would you mind if I took a peek without the hood?" The blind man smiled. "I thought you might ask," he said. "Go ahead." As he lifted the hood, the duke was furious about what he saw. "Castle?" he shouted. "This is nothing more than planks, a janky stone tunnel, and a tree stump in the forest." "But did you not just say how pleased you were?" the blind man asked politely. "That was before I saw this," the duke bellowed. "Why have you brought me here? Why have you wasted my time?" he demanded. The blind man smiled. "As someone who has a castle already, you came here seeking a second one. And if you found it, would it be enough? Or would you seek a third, then a fourth, and so on? You may never return to this place, but you'll still leave with more than what you came with. And that's because you experienced what it means to be content with less." Without another word, the duke rode away. Although frustrated, he noticed that for the first time in a long time, he was actually excited to return to his castle, a place that deep down had always brought him great joy. If only he could have seen it all along.